Well, good morning and welcome to Breakfast Extra. Now, it was Democracy Day about 2 days ago, June 12th. Well, it's a day that Nigeria was supposed to remember with pride and reflect on, and maybe with a little quiet shame, if we're being honest with ourselves, because on this day in 1993, Nigeria did something that still confuses modern democracy experts. We conducted an election that people actually trusted in. Wait, I know. We actually trusted in an election. I know it's not a joke, because there was actually such a time in the history of this great nation, and let me say it again and slowly this time so it sinks in, that Nigerians trusted an election. Now, it wasn't magic. It was design. A very simple, almost brutal system called Option A4. Now, let's give credit where credit is due for late memory Professor Humphrey Nwosu, because he did something that in today's language we would call a system upgrade without bugs. See, in this case, you didn't go to a polling unit or a polling booth to hide inside of a cubicle and start doing detective work with ballot papers like you were in a crime series or something like that. No, you came out, you lined up, you stood behind the symbol of your choice, like at a primary school assembly, whether it was SDP or NRC, right there. Everybody saw everybody else. No hiding, no my vote is secret while my conscience is confused. No. And the man behind all of this was Professor Humphrey Nwosu, and he deserves his flowers. In fact, let's be honest, he was not just an electoral umpire, he was doing something close to political engineering. Because in a country where trust is usually on life support, he created a system that said, hey, let everybody see everything, and let shame be the only security system. And somehow that worked until the election got annulled 11 days later. But it worked, and that's the beauty of it. People accepted the results. Nigerians voted across tribal and religious lines. Even losers were shaking hands and saying congratulations. Nobody was shouting, please, we haven't seen the upload, or the uploads have been manipulated. Nobody was refreshing servers like their destiny depended on Wi-Fi signals. Now, fast forward to today, we have BVAS, we have electronic transmission, and guess what else we have? We have confusion. Because we have the INEC server, we have the backup server, we have the shadow servers, we have the servers cousin in villages, and yet somehow, after all this technology, the national mood is still, let's just wait and see what they watch. See, in 1993, people stood in line and trusted what they saw with their own eyes. And today, we see data on a screen and we still say, I beg, is that the same result that we saw outside? And that, my friends, is what I call a full demonstration of craziness. I'm sure you've heard that before. Because we upgraded from transparency to technology, but somehow we downgraded from trust to suspicion. It's like moving from drinking clean water from a cup to drinking bottled water with multiple seals, and yet still asking, I beg, shade this water now original so? And no, I'm not saying that we should go back to the option A4 like as if it was a national fashion trend. No, but there is a question we must ask. How did we move from a system where people queued openly and believed the outcome to a system where even the smartphones, the database, and biometric verification, the first reaction we get after all of that is still doubt? Now, maybe the problem was never the technology. Maybe the problem was what we built around it. Because in 1993, Humphrey Nwosu did not just design a voting method, he designed visibility. Today, we have upgraded everything except confidence and public trust. And that's the irony. We have modern democracy tools, but ancient democracy anxiety. So here's a food for thought for everyone out there this morning. If democracy is supposed to get better with time, why do more Nigerians feel like they trusted the process more when they could see with their very own eyes than now, when we need a manual, we need an app, we need a server log, and sometimes even a prayer to believe? That's something to chew on this morning. And if Professor Humphrey Nwosu was operating with queues and visibility and still managed to produce what many call Nigeria's most credible election, then maybe the real question is not about technology. Oh no. Maybe it's simply about trust and whether we are building systems that Nigerians can believe in or systems that only look good in presentation. Because at the end of the day, democracy is not just about how advanced the process is. It's about whether the people watching it actually believe it is real. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Extra. My name once again is Mazino Appeal and I am here with my very visible and very credible co-host, Queen Celestine. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining on a Sunday. How are you doing?
Is that Johansson?
I see what you did there. No.
Nice monologue, Mazino.
This is option A4, right in front of you.
Oh, is that Binga? Is that you, Binga?
No. I'd have to be this high if I was Binga.
Oh. Amazing monologue. Of course, you said it all. Back then, it was, you see exactly what you picked. Now, there's a whole lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's something we should really think about. I don't mind doing the old school hands on your neighbor's shoulder and then you count me with drones and everything available. It's going to be really obvious. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I hope we think that. But nice one, Mazino.
Tell you what, I'll come over. We can talk about something else.
Oh, guess what? Option A4.
Not that kind. Yeah. Coming.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday edition of Breakfast Extra. Now, today we're going to examine Borno State's reintegration of hundreds of former insurgents and ask whether rehabilitation can truly deliver lasting peace and community trust. And we investigate allegations surrounding a 36.9 billion naira security fund in Kogi State and what the controversy means for transparency, accountability, and public confidence in government spending. And we'll also unpack the state police bill currently before the National Assembly, exploring whether decentralized policing could strengthen security or create new governance challenges. And of course, in Focus Africa, we'll look at South Africa's crackdown on the employment of undocumented migrants and labor law violations and what it reveals about migration, jobs, and economic pressures across the continent. And on Wellness Extra, we examine the Warri delineation debate. I think I got that wrong. On Wellness, we'll talk about polio. We had a guest some weeks ago about, he said he's going to drive or ride like Mazino from London back to Lagos for the cause of polio. We have all of that. Well, before we start all this conversation, let's do our dailies. Mazino.
Yes, indeed. Let's do our dailies. But before we do our dailies, a little bit of a correction there. It's World Blood Donor Day this week. So, yeah, permit the confusion there. So,
and of course, we'll talk about the polio guy as well.
Yes, we will talk about him because he, of course, he's a biker. We have to talk about that. So, let's get ready for the dailies and we'll be back after this. And you're welcome back. It's time for the dailies this morning. Let's get you started on what you'd find on the front pages when you decide to pick up any of these papers. We're going to start with the Sunday Telegraph first here for Breakfast Extra. We've got the big headline exclusive. Why South Africa is fighting Nigerians, other migrants. Department Governor's spokesman Baloyi says 98% of deportees undocumented CC, drug dealers, kidnappers. Many Nigerians, Ghanaians contributing hugely to South Africa's development, they say. Now, there's so much to consider here regarding the South African returnees. If you've seen a couple of them that have been flown back, you'd find out that these are business people. But the narrative is different from what you get from the South Africans. They claim that they're undocumented. Not saying that there aren't undocumented Nigerians or other nationals inside of South Africa. There are. But it's a problem that's being exaggerated, many will argue. But we'll come back and talk about that because we have that inside of our conversation for today, and we'll be having a guest who will help us analyze the situation. At the top, we have Tinubu Abubakar placed country above self, principle above power in 1999. Orders land allocation construction of resource center in Abuja. Obasanjo Jonathan Akpabio hail ex-head of state for bequeathing democracy. I haven't seen that word in a long time. Andy Masters, 250 billion naira floating dock idles away, gulps 127.6 billion naira in maintenance cost. 2027 presidency, Atiku to unveil Amechi As deputy? Okay. Was that?
No, that's
that was real?
It was real.
Adebayo, there's still hope in Nigeria. Obi, I'll sacrifice for the national unity. It's election time. Warri Federal Constituency 2, how Ribadu, Owerri, DSS, DG, others intervene, say sources, and General Williams, security agencies not held accountable for lapses. Says too many lapses in operation. Here, say that again for somebody in the back seats to hear louder. I absolutely agree. DHQ, Katsina government confirmed General Rabe Abubakar's death in terrorist captivity. This is sad. This is the general that is yet in captivity.
Yeah.
It's all over social media about his death. Felt very sad about that. And 2027, why will re-elect Orji Kalu, Abia North stakeholders? I have met the man before myself at a very modest wedding in Mbise in Abia State. I think about, was it 10 years ago? Was it? I can't remember, but he was just fresh out of jail.
Interesting.
Very interesting fellow. I enjoyed his company. What do you have?
I think we have the Sunday Sun next.
All right, let's have it.
Of course, right at the center, Kwankwaso opens up on pact with Obi, expresses belief in NDC presidential candidates on one-term promise. And right under it says APC internal crisis persists, and despite reconciliation efforts, aggrieved aspirants fight on. You find that on page 18 and 19. And the beautiful lady says, I'm very intentional about maintaining modesty, says Esther Otonye, who's Miss One Nigeria. We do have a lot of pageantries these days.
Yeah, it's becoming an industry.
It is an industry.
I don't feel like no offense, but I don't really regard it anymore. It used to be better when you guys were in it.
Well, thank you. That was...
I wasn't coming for you. I wasn't coming for you.
That was 12 years. That was 12 years ago. Yes.
Wow. How old are you?
That was 12 years ago. Well, right at the top, Gowon Jonathan Mbike Bayo Akpabio extol Abdusalami at book launch. Ex-head of state stewardship was at critical moment for Nigerians. Beside it, a kidnapped general dies in captivity and buried in Katsina. That's really sad. Ekiti Gober, INEC assures of massive security deployment. In 2027, Nigerians must keep hope alive even when government fails. So are they saying that the government will fail?
No,
we should stay alive when it does fail?
If it's good, if contingent. Let's always make room for contingency. Sunday Punch is up next for a Sunday morning here. Congratulations, Newspaper of the Year 2027. APC shuts door on primary result review. List remains unchanged. Party insists. Power brokers preventing Tinubu from knowing the truth, they say. At the very top, with a picture of the president, their insecurity, Fulani settlers abandon southern communities, cite ethnic profiling. That was bound to happen, wasn't it? I've always said that this was the case. Amechi accuses Lagos Hospital, or rather Adiche, accuses Lagos hospitals of blocking probe into son's death. Poor lady. And to the side of the paper this morning, how Germany turned my trip into nightmares, says a Punch editor. And from Bauchi to Brighton, the making of Nigeria's new wonder kid, Yahona Zadok. Sultan? I can't remember. Ex-generals blame government as former army spokesman dies in captivity. At the bottom of the Daily this morning, police chased and stoned my brother to death in Delta River, says sibling and pregnant woman stranded as collapsed bridge cuts off Gombe community from healthcare. That's sad.
Collapsed bridge.
That's what it says. What are we doing next?
I think we have the Sunday Tribune next.
All right.
Tribune.
No, let's do the Sundays. Okay. Sundays. Tribune, yes. Let's do the Tribune, please.
Well, thank you, Mazino. I'm still trying to fix my glasses.
I could help.
It's okay. Right at the center, 2027 elections. While Atiku picked Amechi as running mate, we like to know. Ex-VP toyed with Southeast-Southwest option. Former Rivers governor to be unveiled next week. And 6 days to Ekiti poll, INEC identifies 469 polling units as potential flashpoints. The rest are in tiny print. Says Shatima APC government storms Ekiti Tuesday for Oyebanji, and ADC PDP exude confidence and unsure of victory. Adebayo, SDP presidential candidate, preaches hope, says Nigeria's worth believing in. And besides it, it says 2026 primaries signal of what may happen in 2027 elections. And below that, it said Kola Oyewo dies at 80. Colleagues mourn and recall how veteran actor impacted their lives. And leaders must be willing to consult widely in trying movements, says Obasanjo, as Tinubu Jonathan Gowon Mbeki facilitates General Abubakar. Right at the top, how I narrowly escaped being murdered. Ataoja of Oshogbo recounts experience. And lastly, tears as General Rabe, who died in terrorist enclave buried in Katsina. How he died, their abductors release his corpse for burial or hold on to his wife. That is really, really sad. Who's going to bury him if they are holding on to his wife? That's really sad. I think we still have one more or two more papers. Let's see what we have. I think we have the Sunday Standard next.
Yes, the Sunday Standard is coming to you. Not much on the Sunday Standard, but a picture of William Ruto on there. Very, very fine prints. I don't want to sound nasty, but it is a reality. I want to tell Ruto that you cannot cure diarrhea by stitching the I'm so sorry, that's too fine for me to read.
Let me see if...
No, don't try, you're going to fail. But Sunday Standard print might be too fine for us to see. Apologies, we'll have to skip that one.
Let's see if we have one more. We have one more paper. Okay.
Yes.
We have the Weekend Vision. I think that's a Kenyan newspaper. And right at the center, say ACT teachers get 568 billion shillings for
Ugandan shillings. It's a Ugandan paper, please.
Perfect.
Apologies.
Beg your pardon. ACT teachers get 568 billion shillings for pay raise. That is about...
How much?
5.97 trillion naira.
No, that's not possible. Come on. Trillion naira? Trillion naira?
Yes, I hope I got that right. Except the shillings.
Okay. I didn't see the billion shillings there. You are correct. That's 5... You are correct. That's trillion. 5.9 trillion. That's a lot. Not one person. I think the shock was, I thought it was one person. I'm
no.
like, okay,
no, the whole teacher,
collective.
All the teachers, yes. Dr. Restoring Karamoja's site. Okay, that's good. Job grant scholarships are inside. How Parliament will share 1.2 trillion shillings. I like the sharing in this newspaper, and I think that's all we have. The rest are fine print, and we're still fixing my glasses.
All right, thank you very much for joining us for the dailies as we get started for a Sunday morning. We've got our first big report and a couple of big stories coming your way here. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome once again to Breakfast Extra. Let's do our first big report from Umaru Kira. Now, last week, for years, the war against insurgency in the northeast has been measured in battles won and terrorists reclaimed. But perhaps the harder test comes after the guns fall silent. Borno State has now reintegrated another 720 former insurgents after rehabilitation, bringing the total number returned to society under the program to 1,000. Now, the question is whether rehabilitation can truly deliver lasting peace, and whether communities are ready to trust again.
And to understand what happens beyond the official ceremonies and government assurances, our correspondent looked at how the program worked on the ground, what communities think about it, and whether concerns about security and justice have really been addressed. Here is a special report by Omar Kirawa, our correspondent.
Swearing by the Holy Book amidst stakeholders are repentant insurgents at Hajj camp in Maiduguri, to mark the completion of their rehabilitation process. They have been advised to report criminal activities within their communities to security agencies and refrain from forming groups that could undermine the reintegration process.
On behalf of the good people of Borno and the good people of Nigeria, we have forgiven them with all our hearts. And they have sworn by the Quran. We told them to abide by the terms and conditions of the Quran. That is, not to go back to any form of violence, not to give information to the enemy, not to support the enemy in any form or kind, and to support the armed forces in the ongoing counter-insurgency operation, and to contribute to the local economy.
Government officials and religious leaders urge them to become ambassadors of peace, respect constituted authorities, avoid conflict, and encourage those still in insurgent camps to surrender and embrace peace.
And by the definition of Borno model, it's a community-driven initiative. It is the community that came and screened them and said, these are our boys. Like I always say, the community are aware of the plight of these boys. These are boys that some of them were kidnapped in their farm, and the community is aware. And just like when they were kidnapped, many people went to console their parents. And today, as they are going back to their community, many will come and celebrate with them.
Some of the repentant clients expressed gratitude for the opportunity and pledged to apply the lessons learned during their rehabilitation while living peacefully in their communities.
Yanzu buri na bayan na bar wannan aiki na dawo wayanda na bar su dun masu bar wannan aiki su dawo. Mu yi zaman lafiya a cikin kasanmu, mu samu lafiya kar mu damu wadanda ba harkan su ba komai haka mun takura da a bayan da suna da harka mun takura da su.
Insha Allah babu wani abu muna da farin ciki sosai mun gode wa Allah inda zai shirya mu haka.
With the reintegration of Batch 9, the total number of rehabilitated clients returned to their communities under the Borno model has risen to 9,680. Authorities say more than 350,000 insurgents and their family members have surrendered since the program began. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now, we will be joined by Umaru Kirawa, our News Central correspondent, who put together that report. But joining us right now, Mohammed Tada, public affairs analyst, joins us. Mr. Mohammed Tada, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's good to have you here. Now, there are many questions regarding this, this issue, and people have sentiments around it. But let's start by asking, well, government says reintegration is necessary for lasting peace. Many Nigerians, however, they see it as rewarding people who once took up arms. Now, how do you suggest the government addresses that perception?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. This issue of reintegration in Borno State or in Northeast or in Nigeria is not a new thing entirely. Let us lay a foundation on what is integration and reintegration. They are basically the same thing, but they have a little bit of discrepancy. Reintegration is when somebody that has been in that community for some reason he left or marginalized or an ex-combatant or IDP was reintegrated to that society. But integration is bringing new person entirely. Let's look at historical trajectory of this reintegration. Reintegration, it happens in so many countries, apart from Nigeria. Let's start with Rwanda. In Rwanda, this thing happened after the genocide, 1994. They reintegrated the perpetrators of this
genocide,
issue.
Yes.
And it also happened in Rwanda. Sorry, I mentioned Rwanda and also Uganda, Lord Resistance Army. It happens there. It also happened in Colombia with FARC, and also it happened in Saudi Arabia with Al Qaeda, where they engage these people with ulamas, with people with better understanding of religion to debate and to radicalize or to make sure they brain feed these people with the true teachings of the religion. So coming back to it in community is integration is something that you can't. It's not easy for you to convince communities to accept these people, looking at the gravity of what happened and the casualties, fatalities, and the sufferings that occurred not far, and looking at the crisis is still ongoing. But some, but most of our scholars or most of our historians believe that war doesn't end with the last bullet, but it ends with when last person, when last fighter believes there is better option than gun. So how to do this is to pardon those that truly repentant, and it has to go through series of processes. First, to be on safer side, to make the community safe, to protect the community, to protect people, to protect intelligence, is first to conduct a rigorous security screening. When these people arrive, it's better, it's good for our security forces that manage this issue of DDR, because in security studies, there's what they call DDRR. That is the armament, demobilization, rehabilitation, and reintegration. Reintegration is the last stage of these processes. The first one is to have a rigorous and very well-planned security screening, whereby they need to understand this fight, what role he played in this group. When did he join? Why did he join? Where is he from? Why did he repentant? Basic information. These information are very important in terms of planning, in terms of how to deal with this thing. Even this, what happened in Rwanda, is not everybody was pardoned. There are low-level offenders that were pardoned. And in Rwanda, there's what they did. First is confession. Second is apology. And then third is they will do some labors to the victim families. So, as I have said, security screening. After security screening, they need to undergo this ideological and psychological rehabilitation. That is to change their mindset, to brain feed them with the better understanding of Islam, with the better understanding of coexistence, with the better understanding of how to survive in a multi-religion and multi-ethnic nation like Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Mohammed Tada.
So to de-radicalize them.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Tada. Mr. Tada, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take a very short break. We're still going to come back to you to talk more and in depth on this issue, especially regarding the method that's being used. You have noted some of them. Well, let's go on a short break and we'll be back to rejoin you in this conversation. Welcome back. Borno State reintegrated 720 insurgents, repentant insurgents, called clients back into society. And we're having that conversation here. A report put together by our correspondent Umaru Kirawa gives us an idea of what the ceremony was like, and here we can see these repentant insurgents as they're being reintegrated back to society. Joining us, we have Mohammed Tada, who has been speaking to us on the issues or the methods that have been adopted in bringing these low-risk insurgents back into society. But Queen here has a message, or rather, has a question. My apologies, Queen, not a message.
It's okay. Mr. Tada, good morning. I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned that, this bandits or, the repentant bandits that are being reintegrated into the community were given the Quran to, swear by and, try to confess the good things and, teach them. Apart from the Quran, which is the Muslim religion, what other religion are we using to integrate these repentant bandits back into the community? That's one. Secondly, why would the community people accept these repentant bandits if they have siblings or a friend who's in prison that have done little compared to what the bandits have done to them, still in prison and not out?
As I've mentioned, this issue of reintegration is sword with double edge. Is what we call risk choice. It's not easy to convince somebody, a victim of banditry or a victim of Boko Haram, to accept the perpetrator so early like this. But looking at historical trajectory and the consequence of not reintegrating them and the consequence of reintegrating them, I must go back to history and bring some data that, or bring some thoughts by some scholars that will necessitate these things. It's not easy to convince people. That's why I have mentioned something before we went on break. The robust screening, ideological and psychological rehabilitation, and all that. War scientists, everybody believe that war doesn't end with last bullet. It ends with when last fighter believe that there is better option than the gun. And leaving these people to continue with what they are doing and to continue recruiting members, to continue increasing in number and size and in support. And is the prolongation or elongation of this crisis, it lead to despair from the public, from the masses, to the extent that everybody feels is not safe. So instead of this, pardoning strategically with these people, we know the gravity of this thing, and allowing them in the bush has its consequences. Bringing them back, it aggravates the patients, the victims of this insurgency. It's very difficult decision, but as a government, as an authority, you need to sit down and look at the consequences, pros and cons. If we reintegrate these people and look after them, have intelligence on them, they are within the society, society will be looking at them. It's something that will take time, but one day is not today. It will take communities.
Mr. Tada, Mr. Tada, I'd like us to look at this from another angle. I think we're overly worried about the communities that they are being reintegrated into. I think what we should be worried about are the repentant insurgents themselves. And I say that to say this: while you're putting them out there into the public, what reorientation has been done for the public themselves? Because these are the people who might carry grudges. These are the people who might have, who might want vengeance. Have they been reconditioned? And I mean the public now, I mean the communities. Because while you're putting these individuals into the public circle, you might just be feeding them to the unintentional wolves. So how do you intend to protect these repentant? I mean, how do you suggest the government protects these unintentional bandits or these clients or these repentant insurgents?
One thing is for government to organize town hall meetings to sensitize people on this issue and to hear from people, to have reconciliation from the side of these repentants. Government's supposed to force them to apologize to the people, to confess to their crime, to take oath that they will not go back to this thing. And for the community, everybody to be watchful and on their activities. And for government also to have intelligence to look at them, to be monitoring their activities. Having town hall meeting will allow people to vent their anger, to say their mind, so government will understand how the communities are feeling and how these people are dangerous to our communities, and how some agencies, we have agencies in Nigeria that are enshrined or entrusted with this issue of sensitization and informing people on government national NOA, is it? I think Nigerian Orientation Agency, something like that. They are saddled with this responsibility of sensitizing people on any new policies by government to know what is the motive of doing this thing. To convince people that government is not only trying to sacrifice the justice because of these people, to inform people, to educate people that we have no alternative. We have no alternative. And as I have mentioned, this issue of integration has to go through this robust method of screening. Because there are advantages and disadvantages of bringing these people. If you bring these people, sometimes the commanders do send people to spy within the community. Somebody will come in name of he repented, but he will be sending information to his group. And many incidents of this thing happen. Some of them even after joining civilian JTF and return back to their
Mr. Tade, you mentioned that the government should create town halls for the communities for sensitization, for them to understand and willingly take these victims. Do you think the town hall is enough for these communities to just accept? Do you think that is enough? Because they're also complaining that the repentant bandits are being taken care of, or they are paid more attention than them who are affected by this insurgency.
Yes, of this town hall meeting. Town hall meeting is the first stage, is the stepping stone of this peace processes. After you convene people of different caliber, different educational background, different social background, and different ethnic, and all these victims, you hear from them, then you build from there. When you convene people, you see a lot of beautiful ideas and some of the funny ideas. So you look at these beautiful ideas and build on it. It's very sensitive. The issue surrounding this reintegration is very sensitive because of some of the implications of these things. As I've mentioned, it's Rick's choice. Leaving them in the bush has its own consequences, and bringing them has its own negative effects on the community. So government should be sincere in all this, and community themselves, they need to be sincere. All these things, medias also, they will support this thing. Everything in this world it has to do with educating people, educating people, sensitizing people. People understand the consequences. This thing has been on for some years, almost a decade. Are we going to continue like this? If there's no reintegration, then next. It's not necessary that only reintegration, but looking at historical trajectory, reintegration has been applied in so many places and it works. To some extent, it reduces, if done with sincerity, as I've said, this issue of these processes that I've mentioned in security screening, ideological and psychosocial rehabilitation, then economic empowerment. You must empower these people. You can't bring somebody without a job, without means of livelihood. If he doesn't have means of livelihood, he has another alternative of either engaging in some crime or returning back. So to convince people that these people need to be empowered, some people will say, they committed crime and now we are empowering them, we are financing them. So looking at historical...
Mr. Tade,
you're trying to...
Yes, you just mentioned something as to you don't just, bring them back into the system, you also create jobs for them. What if this program is now infiltrated by people who are in these communities but don't have jobs? What if they come and say, I'm a bandit, just so that you give them jobs? How are we going to, screen them and know the people who are really repentant?
I think Mr. Tade might be frozen there. That was a very interesting question, by the way. I think that I thought about that, the fact that it could be infiltrated. But we have Umaru Kirawa, who's just joined us. Umaru Kirawa, thank you for joining us. late. But thank you for joining us anyway. Where have you been? Umaru, stellar report there. Thank you very much for that
He was
report.
with the repentant bandit.
Where were you, Umaru? We wanted you so badly earlier. But Umaru, we saw the report, and we've been talking to Mr. Mohammed Tada there regarding the sentiments surrounding the reintegration of these bandits. And so, first of all, we wanted to ask you what methods are being used to reintegrate these bandits back into society. Where would they be placed? I could see that there were some vulcanizers, some welders, some tailors, and all of that. Can you please explain to us the details of the reintegration process?
Well, the reintegration process is a whole lot procedure established by the Nigerian authorities. It's important to note that we have the Operation Safe Corridor, which is largely driven by the federal government, comprising 17 agencies, ministries, and departments, including some part of community involvement in the process. And the Borno model, which is driven by the Borno State government here in Borno State. So the procedure and the process are largely the same. The authorities have to vet and screen those repentant insurgents first. They know their people. And largely, the people that have surrendered are the ones, in fact, trying to reconnect with those that are in the bush, encouraging them to come back to surrender and showing them that this is what the authorities are doing based on the trust they have with the government, that they are giving them food, they are teaching them skills, and most importantly, the psychosocial support and religious reorientation, because it's largely a misconception at the initial stage with regard to religious doctrine. So it's a whole lot of process, screening. They take their details. I've learned that the Operation Safe Corridor have a database, but you know it's an offline database. You cannot access it, but the authorities have access to it.
Okay.
So they have their profile. They profile them. They separate them into low risk and high risk. Those that are considered low risk are the ones that are considered conscripted individuals, family members, farmers, women, and children. And the high risk are the fighters who engage in fighting, who have held guns, who have been fighting the Nigerian authorities. So largely this is how the process and the procedure of the reintegration process, and they are taught different skills. Their mindsets are changed, and they are encouraged to embrace peace as well as encourage others to surrender.
Okay, Umar, I'm going to ask you a question that I asked Mr. Mohammed Tada from earlier, and I asked him what reconditioning or what sensitization has been done to the communities that they would be injected into.
Well, at the initial stage, there were a lot of issues with regard to public trust, community engagement, with regard to the reintegration and engagement with repentant terrorists. But in recent times, we saw the authorities convening town hall in different communities. And these town halls, we've seen the European Union have been supportive of these initiatives. We've seen them in several communities, in Konduga, in MMC, in Jere, whereby community members and their leadership, including the traditional and religious leaders, as well as community members, are engaged with regard to the acceptance and the acceptability of this initiative. And most importantly, the issue of community to the de-radicalized and repentant ratio. Because both natural, you cannot be supporting or giving threats and employing repentant insurgents while the community members and victims are suffering without jobs. So the civil society organizations have stepped in, and there is this, what they call it, is it 3-to-1 or 1-to-3? When you empower a repentant insurgent who is to be reintegrated.
Well,
We seem to be having a network connection issue.
same thing has happened. But I think we got the crux of what he was trying to say there. Thank you very much, Umar Kira, for at least trying to make it even at the end of the conversation. And also, thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. Oh, there you guys are again. Thank you very much to both of you. Umar Kira, we did get the crux of what you were trying to say. Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Tada. We hope that this arrangement is a, one that works for both the repentant insurgents and also the communities. Maybe it helps to soften the blow of insurgency and violence in the north in Borno State. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now let's continue on to our next conversation, which will be a big story here.
Yes, but before the conversation, is strips.
Oh, yes, we do have strips. You're so excited.
My favorite.
Let's do the strips. And you're welcome. Once again, it's time for our strips, where we get to explore the cynicism of Nigeria's artistically inclined journalists. Here on Breakfast Extra. And of course, that of my co-host, Queen Celestine, who thinks she's there to enjoy this. You're working here today. You're joining me and we're doing the analysis together. Queen, thank you very much. All right. Let's do the strips now, shall we? Our producers have put together a list or a set of very interesting cartoons from over the week, some of them which you will be relating to. Let's take our very first one here. This is the system in Nigeria, our daily realities, very unlike what the ruling class might view. Take a look at the air bubbles here, Queen. Can you see this poor man who's outside enjoying the fresh air? At least that's what the ruling class seem to think. The air bubbles here. They cry that there's insecurity, but look at them enjoying the cool city breeze in the open. And the other individual inside of the legislator's car being driven there in green, white, and green says, Honorable, it's all politics, if you ask me. And this is true. The past week has seen insecurity in Nigeria politicized. The opposition has said, oh, can you imagine, this is what is happening. They've used it as points to discredit the ruling, the administration. And then the administration has used it as a way of talking about opposition being the reason why these insurgencies are happening across the country. It's a very sad one to see people's plight being politicized inside of Nigeria while we're waiting for people to return home. 40 kids still in captivity, and the numbers are going down by the day. As I heard, one of them died from a week ago, yet no real actual process to how these people will be brought back home. But this is what it seems like we obtain here in Nigeria when it comes to insecurity and the plight of the everyday citizen. What do you think, Queen?
Well, Masino, you said it all. Even though this is my favorite segment, it's just unfortunate to see, or if sometimes it just feels like the government are not seeing what the citizens are going through. And it's obvious, it's clear, but of course, it feels like whoever is in between, either the person who's communicating to the Asarok is not communicating correctly, or there's just noise in the channel, because it's terrible the way we're living. It's not translating to what we're hoping for.
There is consideration to be given to sensitive security information, so maybe that's why we're not hearing much about exactly how the captives will be freed. Well, we don't know. In any case, communication is it's needed, especially for trust. Well, we wait and see what might come out of the chatter this week. But most of all, we wait and see whether there will be freedom for those still in captivity. All right, let's take our next strip. This one's a bit sad for me, everybody, I guess. But our very next strip this morning, I wanted to talk about this. Where is our cybercrime unit in Nigeria? It's a very big question. Here we see a picture or a cartoon of a bandit who's making a call to the families of those whom they have in captivity. And he's like, it's ransom or death. And there we can see what is illustrated as a member of the Nigerian police cybercrime unit. I will fish you out. You think you can hide after insulting a whole senator? I'm not too sure exactly what the senator instance refers to. But my big question here is to the cybercrimes unit. We've had calls. We've had transfers. We've had all these. Why exactly do we have a cybercrimes unit if that cybercrime unit cannot cybercrime? Is my big question. What have they done so far regarding triangulating where these calls might be coming from or where these transfers might be going, even if some of them are hard cash that are being, shifted into communities for collection? But there are calls that are being made. There are you can track these little, what you call them, electronic or cyber. It's a cybercrimes unit. I don't know if you get me, Queen. Do you?
I get you. Again, we noticed recently that, the EFCC are targeting transactions in, government accounts or whatever. So how come you're not able to track these ransoms, these calls, these areas. I feel like they have access to networks to be able to find out fishy conversations, IP numbers, or whatever it is. So it feels like they're seeing it, but at the same time not seeing it. We're not accusing, we're just saying that's what it looks like.
And then again, it is sensitive security information, so maybe they do know. Maybe...
I like your responses this morning.
No, let's balance it out. Let's always balance it out. Let's not just all go guns a-blazing and criticizing. Let's also try and clarify as well. But let's check out our next strip for this morning. We've got a couple other. This is Asuko, by the way, and it's from Business Day. And now our next strip for this morning, if the producers will please, is a very simple one. It tells its own story. There's no need to even analyze this one. It's just simple. Hey, this is a situation. I saw a pic. I think Collins, our producer, yesterday showed me a video of bandits who are being the atypical modern day Robin Hood, who are giving out cash on live stream on TikTok. And that's what this is representing here. People are in captivity, yet monies are exchanging hands. And these bandits are flaunting it online. They're giving out monies to impoverished Nigerians who are actually begging for monies themselves. While more is still entering into their system, they're using this as, and it brings back that question regarding the cybercrimes unit and exactly what they're doing with the information that the criminals themselves are putting out there. It's a sad story. Like I said, it tells its own story. Did you see the video, Queen?
I did see.
You saw it yesterday. Yes, Colin showed it to us.
Yes.
It's a very sad situation in Nigeria. And these are young men, these bandits, absolute young men. It makes me very, very worried.
Nigerians have to be careful.
Absolutely.
It's not every free thing they give you. This is not palliative. You have to be careful.
But you know the funny thing?
Did you see the one where I think one of the guys were part of the people that dropped his account details, whether they gave him money and now they're asking him for 100 million?
The price of greed. He should pay for that one. But do you know the funny thing? I think there's a way in there. I don't know whether I should tell or whether the authorities...
Sensitive information, Mazi.
But it's simple. Pretend to be one of the people who are begging for money, see how the money comes to you, and then track it backwards or upwards. It's that simple. Is nobody thinking here? Let's see our very last one, or maybe what might be our last cartoon for today. Thank you very much. Let's see. Good. So as we're getting closer and closer to election period, we see plenty of information out there. I think Bulama here is trying to bring to our daily consciousness the disadvantage of misinformation as it's being fed into the society. Wrong information, lies, fake news, fake info, deceit. It's all out there. It takes a very discerning person to actually sift through what's going through or what's coming through and separate what the facts are from what the lies are. And it's also our responsibility as the media to be able to hold whatever we should be held accountable for whatever we put out there. And that's what this cartoon is trying to say. Save the ballot, save the votes. The media has that responsibility. And to the individual, please make sure that you're careful with all the information that you are hearing or gathering out there. It's that simple. Thank you very much, Bulama. That's from the Daily Trust. That will end our strips for today, unless Queen has something to say about misinformation. Queen?
Well, I like the fact that we're saving the 2027 ballot box while fake news and everything is just happening all around. You're like, no, you know what? Shut the noise. Let's focus.
Have you noticed how nobody's talking about inflation anymore?
No.
Everybody's talking about security. Yeah. Nobody's hungry anymore. Everybody feels unsafe. And that's a bigger problem.
Diversion.
When hunger takes second seat and your security is in the driver's seat, it's a big problem. It's an explosion. That's what many will say. But thank you very much for helping me out through the strips, and thank you for watching.
Yes, I came to work. Thank you, Mazino.
You're welcome. Now let's move on to other conversation inside of Breakfast Extra. Thank you.
Come back to your seat.
I'm coming there now.
Welcome back. Now let's do the headlines. My name is Queen Celestine. We begin with a sad development as family, friends, military personnel, and sympathizers gathered in Katsina to bid a final farewell to retired Major General Rabe Abubakar. The late former Director of Defense Information was laid to rest on Saturday evening at the Gidon Dawa Cemetery in Katsina State. The funeral attracted family members, senior military officials, government officials, and members of the public who came to pay their last respect to the retired army officer. Major General Abubakar reportedly died while in the custody of bandits who had abducted him and his wife along the Maraba-Musawa-Kafinsoli Road in Katsina State. Authorities say he died from complications related to diabetes and hypertension while in captivity. His wife remains in the hands of the kidnappers. And in the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has expressed shock and sadness over the death of retired Major General Rabe Abubakar, who reportedly died while being held captive by terrorists in Katsina State. In a statement, President Tinubu extended his condolences to the family of the late senior military officer, the Katsina State government, and the Nigerian Armed Forces. The president also expressed concern over the continued captivity of the late general's wife and prayed for her safe release. President Tinubu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling insecurity, insisting that Nigeria would not bow to terrorist demands or negotiate under pressure. And as insecurity continues to threaten lives and livelihoods across the country, concerns are growing over the effectiveness of current security architecture. Citing recent developments along the Kwara-Oyo-Ekiti corridor, one group, also known as the Five-Star Movement, has called for urgent reforms needed to tackle the nation's security challenges and restore public confidence. The group has unveiled a blueprint that prioritizes improved police welfare, stronger border collaboration with neighboring countries.
What we are trying to advocate for is a multi-tiered policing architecture. The Amateku model in the Southwest has already proven that community policing rooted in local knowledge can hold ground that distant federal commands cannot. We're aware that there is a constitutional amendment that was pushed on the 11th of June on state policing. The advocacy that we have as a movement and what we want to see is seeing that constitutional process through to the end, but beyond just changing the laws, ensuring that the states are actually autonomous enough to be able to take the next step in funding and investing in the security architecture of their states. We must think about security of the Nigerian people beyond just what's happening inside Nigeria, but how we guard our borders, how we relate with our neighbors, and how we ensure that a secure region also means a secure Nigeria.
The Edo State government says it is stepping up efforts to improve security, transportation, and overall development. Information, Communication, and Strategy Kashim Afegwa said reforms are being implemented across key sectors to boost development and service delivery. The Commissioner for Security and Public Safety, Festus Ebe, urged residents to avoid spreading unverified information on social media, warning it could hamper security operations and cause panic.
When we talk about safety and security, a lot to talk about. But commend the men and women of the various security forces in Edo State.
The ministry is currently engaging Fulfill Africa to partner with New Edo Line in revitalization of Edo Korean services through a public-private partnership arrangement aimed at improving logistics and courier operations across the states and Nigeria.
We are not doing MOU that you see on paper, you can't see them physically. Those buses, you are going to recruit drivers that will drive them. That is already providing 50 employment for drivers. And they will also be motorboy. Government is going to be doing things that will take people away from the street so that they can be gainfully employed in doing one thing or the other, in providing services of the people.
Nigerians have been tasked to learn from the lesson of June 12, 1993, being celebrated nationwide as Democracy Day. This was during a Democracy Day dialogue organized by the Civil Society Situation Room in Abuja as part of activities marking the nation's Democracy Day. Our correspondent Victor Ajayi reports.
Executive Director of Policy and Legal Advocacy.
It was a Democracy Day dialogue and photo exhibition with the theme June 12th, from symbolism to systems change, the role of civil society in sustaining Nigeria's democracy. The event, organized by the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, is part of activities to mark June 12th, bringing to fore sacrifices made by many Nigerians which have come to represent the nation's symbol of democratic struggle, citizen sovereignty, and demand for credible elections. Many here say the former chairman of Nigeria's electoral body who supervised the June 12 elections, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, and his efforts should be commended in the light of the June 12 struggle and urge Nigerians to learn from the past.
Because the whole idea, the whole essence for us in marking June 12 is to measure our current situation with where we are coming from. Look at Professor Humphrey Nwosu and how he stood very firmly against brutal military dictatorship of General Ibrahim Babangida and General Sani Abacha, who was chief of army staff at the time, but who were determined to frustrate the return to civilian rule. When we contextualize our current electoral commission, when we contextualize ourselves as civil society and what we are doing regarding elections in the country.
Clear why June the 12th remains such a powerful symbol of your struggle to shape your democratic future. And it represents a milestone, but it's also an enduring reminder that the democracy is built through courage and resilience and persistence of individual people who choose to act, who choose to support the process.
Others expressed their views on the current state of Nigeria's democracy being seen from their own perspectives.
Then it was option A for, now it is option A front. Because when you count 1 to 3 to 100 as they were, now they are counting 110, 1,000.
Today, we have made a transition because you did ask the healthiness of our democracy today. I will say that today, one good thing that we have is that inclusive process is being entrenched in the Nigerian electoral process.
From where we are coming from and now is expanding, inequality is expanding, access to health remain elusive, access to food security and all that. So what in essence is to say that the basic tenets of democracy are lacking.
While Nigerians continue to reminisce on June 12, its legacy, lessons, and importance to the nation's democratic future, many say it should not be measured as an event, but a process.
We are heading to
Borno State Governor Professor Babangida Zulum has reiterated his administration commitment to the resettlement of displaced persons after commencing the distribution of relief materials and financial assistance to 2,500 IDPs at Madinatu camp in Maiduguri. The support package comprises food items, wrappers, and 50,000 naira cash grants for each beneficiary, aimed at elevating hardship among vulnerable families affected by years of insurgency. News Central's Umar Kirawa completes the report.
To thousands of families, this is the Madinatu internally displaced persons camp in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. On the eve of Nigeria's Democracy Day, Governor Babangida Zulum, alongside members of the Borno State Executive Council, brought smiles to the families who have endured years of displacement caused by insurgency.
We want to express our sincere appreciation to Almighty Allah for sparing our life to witness this very important day, which marks 2070 year of unbroken democracy in Nigeria. I want to commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, DSS and other security agencies, police and other security agencies, for recently rescuing about 434 of our abducted women and children from Russia and other communities in the state. I want to assure you that, inshallah, remaining of our children, women and children that are still in captivity, especially those in Chile and Musa communities, as well as Chibok communities, will also be rescued. I also want to assure you that, inshallah, in the last distance, before the expiration of our terms, inshallah, some of the IDP camps that are in the areas will also be closed.
Officials said The relief package is expected to provide immediate support to vulnerable households of the camp population.
About 2,500 beneficiaries will receive both food and non-food items. Your Excellency, you may wish to note that we have already profiled the entire camp for possible resettlement when the time is ready.
The beneficiaries welcomed the intervention and expressed optimism that the governor's promise of resettlement will soon become a reality.
Gaskiya muna mazulun albarka muna ƙara mishi himma mu ma muna jin daɗi magana da yake faɗa ga muna murna sosai saboda can ne wajen neman abincin mu can ne wajen abubuwan namu a ƙauyen mu.
Governor Zulum noted that the state government will continue to collaborate with security agencies, humanitarian partners, and community leaders to ensure successful reintegration of displaced families. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
And that's all for the news inside of Breakfast Extra. Let's go to a short break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with Mazino. To stay with us. Now let's move to another big story. Questions about accountability are once again at the center of public debate after allegations that 36.9 billion naira from Kogi State Security Fund may have been diverted. Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center has called for an independent investigation, arguing that the claims raise serious concerns about transparency in the management of public resources. The controversy has also reopened a wider national conversation about security votes and special security accounts. These funds are often considered necessary because of Nigeria's security challenges. But critics argue that limited oversight creates opportunities for abuse and weakens public trust in government institutions.
So at its heart, this story is about accountability. It's about transparency and also public confidence in governance. So to help us examine the issues and understand what a proper investigation should look like, we are joined by Hamza Aliyu, Executive Director, Initiative for Grassroots Advancement in Nigeria. Mr. Hamza Aliyu, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this Sunday morning, sir. First of all, I'd like to ask...
Thank you very much for having me. The network has been very challenging.
We understand, sir. We'll make do with what we have. Hopefully, it'll give us opportunity to communicate. Sir, let's start with asking how authentic these claims are before we go into defining these security votes and how they're supposed to be used. How authentic are these claims of alleged diversion of 36.9 billion naira from security votes in Kogi State?
Well, we also had the story the way you had it. One of our respected civil society organizations raised that issue the last week, and then also we followed up to find out from the state authorities how authentic this issue is, in as much as the story also said that it was an alleged mismanagement of funds. We are also following up to see how authentic it is. The state has come out to say there's nothing like that. The assembly has come out to say, of course, naturally, that there's nothing like that. So, but we're also following up. As we speak currently now, we're still investigating to find out story got out, how authentic, like you say, it is. Mm-hmm. I think it's only the government and the security agencies or investigating agencies that can actually say how authentic the story is. So for now, we're still taking it at face value, and we're also investigating on the ground here in Kogi State.
So we're going to attend to it as such. Now, Hamza, let's now explain exactly how security votes work. Where do they come from? Where do they go to? How accountable are those who they are kept in their, the authorities that are supposed to handle these security votes? Give us a background of how security votes work.
Like you know, each tier of government also has its ways of funding security. And we know that it's appropriation that is made through the central budget. And so the state, like the federal government, also has its own budget for security. And from that security votes, funds are made available for the operations of the security agencies, where the state supports the federal security agencies that are created to, whose primary responsibility it is to fight or protect people, protect citizens and also their services. And so basically it is an appropriation that is made from the state budget. The House of Assembly approves that appropriation,
and then the state goes to execute that appropriation. And so state funded a appropriation. How it is being spent, that is the prerogative of the executive. Because as we know, the state does not, issues around insecurity, issues around security are not publicly available in the public sphere. Those are some of the areas that as civil society we are also fighting towards to ensure that we have more clarity on how security votes or security expenses are being done. And so I would say that to the best of our knowledge in the civic space, security funding is not made public. And because of that, there are very little light that shines in that particular sphere of things. I'm sure that is where CISLAC came up with its activities that is currently engaging in to look at how can we make this process more transparent, more accountable, more open to the citizens of the state.
Well, Mr. Liu, you just mentioned that, of course, we know that the security funds are there or security votes are there, but how it's been spent is not known to the public. And now there are these allegations that there's, an amount, billions of naira missing, but then the government is saying it's false. What does it do? What does this do to the confidence of the public? That is one. And secondly, how are we sure that this money is not being moved for personal spending?
How can we keep them accountable?
Like you just agreed to, it is still one of those aspects of governance that we're still having a running battle with the public sector, with the government, to say we need to have more clarity in terms of how much are we spending? Where are we spending these funds? But again, we also understand that issues of security are issues of national interest, are issues of national importance. And so, like we know, Kogi State is one of the hotbeds for insecurity currently. And so it will not be very educative and very important for us to begin to ask, what do you use it? What do you use to buy? How much do you buy bullets? How much do you buy armor tank? All those things, those are prerogative of the security agencies and the funding mechanism from government through where they get their funds from. But again, like all public funds, the civil society is saying we need more clarity, we need more searchlight into it. And that is why we're always engaging the government to say, yes, we understand insecurity are issues. Yes, we understand that we need to protect our people. We need to ensure that the bad guys don't have access to information concerning our security votes, our security expenditure. We don't want to give them a clue of where we're going to, yes. But somehow the citizens, they require the government to be open, to be transparent, to be accountable to them, to say, this is what we did. We don't want specifics, but we just want to know that this is how much we're going to spend and this is what is going to be spent for, so that we'll be able to know that, yes, the people that we put in place and in government, they are accountable to us. You can see the issue of insecurity is also a problem at the National Assembly level. We had at the National Assembly calling severally for the government to open up that space, but still, we know even at the international level, it's still a problem. So it's a work in progress. We're still working on it. And that's why the engagement is still on between the civil society in Kogi State and the government to say we need more clarity. This should not be, insecurity should not be a yardstick for making government issues or governance issues very opaque and very non-transparent.
And that opacity is something I want to ask you about. Yes, it is understandable, this opacity when it comes to how security votes are being treated. You can't itemize exactly what they're being used for. But somehow we have to hold the authorities accountable. So I'm wondering what reform you would suggest that would make this a more realistic approach to how security votes are handled instead of an idealistic one.
Yes, currently what we are doing, and it's a concept that has been brought over by Nigeria and even international community, there's this concept known as the open government partnership. Let's come to an agreement on what we want to do, how we want to do it, and when there's challenges, we both understand that these challenges, whatever they are, we can surmount them, we prefer solutions to it. So Kogi State and Nigeria has signed up to the OGP concept, and we are working on it currently. And it is true, when this issue came up, we quickly contacted the government side of the OGP, because OGP is about co-creation. The civil society side and the government side. So we quickly contacted our government partners to say, what's happening? We've had this story. How authentic is it? What can we do? We've written a letter to the governor to say, look, we need to have clarity on this issue. investigations needs to be done quickly. And I'm happy that the allegation that was brought up by Transparency International and CISLAC also alluded that we need to have investigation into this to know, are we doing it in the right way? Who is responsible for any misgiving, adventure that has been done, and let's hold people accountable. So the OGP is an accountability mechanism, the transparency mechanism, but it talks about cooperation, where citizens and government come to the table and discuss this. Kogi State has signed up to it without being forced, signed up to it, and we're happy that the state do. It's not that they're asking questions because they want to bring down the government. No. We want to ask questions because we are partners in this development issue. We are partners in this governance issue. And that when we are proactive with giving information, it makes the process very more transparent. It makes people to trust. Because the trust deficit is the reason why we're having this conversation as we speak. Government is supposed to be for people, but we're seeing that whenever government keeps quiet, people assume that things are bad. And because of that assumption, people go out with wrong stories and forcing government to begin to backtrack and begin to explain. And for us, the OGP is that concept that we're using in Kogi to ensure that our government as a state is held accountable for what they say.
Mr. Ali, you've said a lot of things in terms of, there's trust issue here, communication gap, accountability. But again, it seems like this is another story out of a playbook where a story pops up and then, oh, it's false, it's not true, we're investigating, and then it goes mute. And then the next thing we say, oh, the media brought this fake news. And so there's always something, there's always a story. Who is now going to hold the government accountable if this story just disappears and then we don't know what happened to the funds, since we're not able to know what the money are being used for? How do we move from that? How will the government give us transparency when it seems like there's really nobody holding them accountable for situations like this?
Like you just rightly alluded to, deficit of trust, and I also stated it, that is the reason why we're here. Remember, governance is about people. It's about us. There is no them and us in governance. At the end of the day, the reason why government is in place is for the protection of lives and of citizens and for the good of the citizens. So we must find a way to engender that trust between citizens and government. Government works for citizens. We elect our leader and we put trust in them to say, spend resources on our behalf. And so you must account to it. You must account to us. How they account to us is left to the citizens to say, we medium. And Kogi State is not a different one. We've told government, we can't anything. You must tell us when we ask, give us answers, provide clarification. If those clarifications involve national interest, involve city interest, let us understand that this is what is concerning AC. This story will not be swept under the carpet like everyone else, because in government we need to have clarity, and once we have that, it owes us a responsibility to come to the public and say, no, this story is true, this story is not true, and we are investigating the form of that investigation. We make it, like you said, consistently Kogi is in the wrong, is in the news for the wrong reason, and these wrong reasons are because citizens have not been able to get up and ask the right question in the right manner and get the right back from government. The OGP process has now made it. We have a charter of service from MDAs. We're asking those questions. And I will bet you, the Kogi State, they are very interested in going to the root of this issue. And we will not allow it to just go under the carpet.
Well, Mr. Hamzat Aliyu, I'm sure we're having a bit of network issue, but we want to say thank you.
But we did hear the last thing he said. He said they will not let it rest, that they will follow up and find out those who are responsible if this matter is actually true. I like that response. That should be how everybody, every citizen, everyone who is in a position of note should attend to these issues. I think it's a situation where misinformation on education, non-education of citizens is taken advantage of. And that's why there's nobody holding the authorities to account.
Well, I like the fact that he said it's still ongoing. We will follow up for sure on these situations and where the money went to. And if it's false or it's true, we'll figure it out in a couple of weeks. But let's go on a short break. When we return, we start another conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Now, the Senate has passed the second reading of a bill seeking to establish state police reviving one of the most debated security reforms in Nigeria's recent history. Supporters argue that policing has become too centralized and that local authorities need greater powers to tackle insecurity effectively. Opponents, however, worry that state police could be abused by political leaders, deepen regional inequalities, and create coordination challenges among security agencies. As insecurity continues to affect communities across the country, many Nigerians are asking whether this reform is the answer or simply a new set of problems.
So while there is broad agreement that the current system faces serious challenges, there is less agreement on what should replace it. And to help us explore the implications, we are joined by security analyst Awal Aliyu. Mr. Aliyu, good morning and thank you for joining us this Sunday.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
I wanted to say something about your name and the names of the other guests that we've been having. Today we've had an Aliyu join us, we've had an Awal join us, and now we're having an Awal Aliyu join us. So you're welcome. You're bringing it all together.
It's beautiful. While we're happy.
It's all about letter A today.
Yes,
indeed.
While your name has brought everything together, the state police situation is something that has been ongoing. And, you know, we're trying to solve, you know, the police, the current policing structure. And it's been a struggle. Do you say that this situation is something that this current police should accept? Do you think this is a good time to have a state police?
Well, ordinarily, there's differences between my personal opinion and overall security situation opinion.
Right.
If you ask of personal opinion, it would have been expressed in a different way. But if you talk about the overall security situation and the overall opinion of the people, you would simply say that the state policing is the thing is what's in vogue right now. Nigerians are strongly believing, including the authorities, that the state policing situation is what will solve the problem or is what will be used in curtailing the security challenges we are having. I just hope and pray that this come to fruition. But technically, if you look at it, you will say that it is even better you recruit more of the police, equip the present national police, provide them with all the necessary equipment, welfare, well-being, training, retraining, technological advancement, you know, and then human right knowledge, and all those things are supposed to put together. And then where you have 1 million policemen or 2 million policemen, because now we are over 230, approximately 240 million Nigerians. So we will be requiring 2 million policemen to be able to police Nigeria properly. Right now, we do not have up to 500,000 policemen. So therefore, there's no way how you will achieve the result that you want to achieve. And even if you do the state policing, unless and until you have up to 2 million and possibly above number of policemen, including that is the state policing arrangement, we may still be having the same challenge. But be that as it may, since what is in vogue today is the issue of decentralization of the Nigerian police into the state policing arrangement, just like you have in other advanced countries, the Americas, if you like. I would say, fine, let's go and let's have the state policing arrangement. But then, in my opinion, it is not just about having the state police, but having the control of the state police arrangement is what is bothering me, or to me is what really matters. I am of the opinion that there should be a state policing commission, a national state policing police commission, where a certain level of control of the police will belong to the federal government, that will belong to the center, and a certain control number of percentage of control the state can have. There should be a certain legislation that will define and determine from point A to point C, for example, is where the federal government has authority. It is only when the federal government authorizes that such kind of action or steps can be taken by the state police. While from C to maybe Z, that will be where the states have total control, that is, the state governors have total control of the police. Why I said so that there won't be bastardized use or misuse of the state police by the state authorities.
Mr. Lee, I don't want you to go too far. I think I liked that bit there where you talked about the commission that could have at least some sense of central control, even if we have different state policing. And I was wondering whether we're ready for that. We are a country that have very diverse ethnic and also political leanings. From here to there, it's different. And I'm wondering whether there would be that handshake you spoke about when it comes to other advanced countries with this kind of system between states in Nigeria. Do you think it's possible for a country like Nigeria, with such diversity, ethnic and political, to actually have such a system that would still coexist together when it comes to policing?
Oh yes, I think it can be done. Right now we are having a central police, even with the diversity of languages, ethnicity, culture, and what have you, including religion. Yet we still have the central police, and it is working, and it has been working for Nigeria from the day Nigeria come to be up to this moment. Crime is being fought.
I want to, for the first time on this show, disagree with a guest on that one, because what you are doing when you actually call for state policing is you're drawing actual lines on a map. Once you draw actual lines on a map, you're saying that this is the north, this is the west, this is the southwest, and so and so. This is our state, this is your state. And that there is the actual worry of individuals when it comes to state policing, that governors could actually take advantage of this diversity. So it's something to really worry you. It worries me, quite frankly.
You can disagree, but we are not talking of regional police. We are talking of state police. We are not regionalizing the police. We are stating the police. If you speak about regional police, that is where you will begin to think there's going to be that challenge that you are afraid of, that also you are disagreeing with. But we are not talking of regional, we are talking of state police. And then don't forget, all the states comes under the Nigerian constitution, and the state governors are governing Nigeria or their own various states under the Nigerian constitution. So it is the constitution that supersedes any other legislation that is coming under the National Assembly that will empower the issue of the state police. And don't forget, it is an act of National Assembly that will be signed by the president. So there is differences between the Nigerian Police Act, for example, and the Nigerian Constitution. And the Constitution is clear about how the country is being governed and how the resources are being shared and how the country will be secured under the security arrangement. So the state police is still coming, is an act of the National Assembly coming under the Constitution. And the Constitution is clear, and it is the same Constitution that is being used in Nigeria, even though we have the diversity of culture, we have diversity of religion, we have diversity we have different regions, and just like, though it's not a regionalization, it's not even in the Constitution, but you have different states. So I don't see it as a problem as you see it, on the issue of state police because of diversionary culture or religion or behavior. No, I think the Constitution supersedes any other law that will be enacted by the National Assembly and so be assented by the President and will now be an act of the National Assembly. Don't forget, I repeat, the Police Act, just like the Armed Forces Act, just like any other act of any security structure in Nigeria, is governed under the Constitution of Nigeria. And the Constitution supersedes any other act. And the Constitution is what is being used to lead this country. So I don't see any issue of ethnicity. And in any case, that was why I am saying have a commission, National State Police Commission, that will regulate the activities of the police to state policing to certain level. Like I said, you can give 70% powers to the state governors and 30% powers to the center. Why do you need 30% powers or control of the state policing in the center? There are situations where the state governors, because they have authority on the state police, right now, let's be candid and be honest about it, the state governors has no control of the police. The police is only advisory to the state governor, and the state governor could only request the police to act where necessary. The police commissioner of a state can decide to tell the governor, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I need clearance from the Inspector General of Police before I can act. This is what we're having right now. But under the state policing arrangement, the state governor has certain powers. The state police commissioner knew very well that the state governor has certain powers over him by the act that establishes him. So once he gives him instruction, all he need to do is look at the books that says the state police and see, did he exceed the powers that is allocated to him on this specific instruction that is given to me or to the state police to work? If it does not exceed, then the commissioner of police immediately act based on the instruction. If it exceeds that this is beyond the powers of the state governor, he needed the authorization, this time around, not from the Inspector General of Police, but the National State Police Commission, then he will refer it back to the National State Police Commission for an authorization for him to act in that particular way. And that was why I said, you'll be needing 70-30 kind of situation of control of the state police.
So yes, my co-host has talked about, political interference. I want to talk about community interference. Of course, supporters are saying that local officers will understand the local community better in terms of, they know their people. But do you think it's going to make any difference? We understand that, in a crate of egg, there's going to be bad eggs. And if the local officers are known in the community, meaning they know everybody there, how sure are we that they'll be able to bring their friends out, their siblings out who are the bad eggs? What difference will this make?
Truly, that is also another challenge. It's a coin, or it's a sword that have double edge. The double-edged sword, it depends on how it is being used. I agree with you in totality that a situation where you have the state policing arrangement and it is done from the community level and you work within your community. So everybody knows everybody. I know your dad, you know my dad. I know your granddad, you know my granddad. I know your siblings, you know my siblings. We all know each other. We know who is a problem within the community, and we know who are the nice guys within the community. So it is easy to pick up whoever that is not is a security threat and do the needful. If there's going to be that commitment to do the job, is the issue of he is my brother, or is my sister, or his sister is my girlfriend, or his sister is my wife, or my brother is married to his elder or younger sister, or his elder brother is a friend to my elder brother, so therefore I cannot do this to him. That is what you are looking at, and that is what you are trying to indicate that you are afraid the possibility of that happening. That is on one angle that we may likely have that challenge. But on the other angle, it is a good thing. It is coming from the community because everybody knows everybody, and everybody knows who is a nice guy and who is a bad guy, and it is easy to pick up the bad guys and do the needful on them so that the community will be peaceful. Now, it all depends on what the Act of National Police Act will be saying, 1, 2, and it also depends on the kind of training and professionalism that these police, local state policing will come with. The Act will come with the kind of training they will require, the professionalism, and the possibly interchangeable policemen within community. If there's a community A and community B.
I don't have much confidence in whatever training the current Nigerian police system has, because I mean, look around you. Let's not even go too far on that one regarding training. But there's another thing to consider, and it's funding. Who's going to fund the state police? Because if the states are responsible for their own individual policing, then that means it has to be state funded. And we're faced with a problem there where richer states would have better policing than poorer states. Or perhaps maybe there should be a central system or a federal system that still is responsible for funding the individual states. So there's that balance. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, that is why I said the need for National State Police Commission. That National State Police Commission will regulate all the activities of all police in every state, including salaries, wages, promotion, and what have you, so that there will not be vendetta when it comes to the issue of resources. Yes, you see, there are situations where state governors cannot pay salary of their own state staffs. Under this arrangement, the commission might be saddled with the responsibility in the act to say that whatever funding that is going to under the arrangement of the state police will be deducted from the source, from the state funding at the source, and be placed under the state police commission, that whatever it is required will be done, will be paid through the state police, national state police commission. Somebody will say, but still the federal government is now in charge. No, so that there will be balance, there will be total concentration, there will be no issue of there's no salary has not been paid, or these ones are having more salary than us. That will provide for coordination, that will provide for control, that will provide for cooperation, that will provide for synergy, because there is a law that says this is how you function, and no, this is how you cannot function. This is the certain level of powers that the state governor have over you, and this certain powers is being controlled by the national police, state police commission, where that commission will have all representation from the 36 states being members of that commission, which means you have 36 with one person that will make it 37, that will be the chairman or the director general or whatever name that you will be called the head of the commission, and all other representative of the state will be given whatever name they want to be given. Is it director? Is it under the police commission? Maybe the National State Police Commission Inspector General, or whatever name they feel to call him. The commission will decide. Along with this suggestion of a commission, are you also saying that there should still be a federal policing system, which would stand along? Okay, so now that's our problem. All right. Yes, there should continue to be. When you have a federal policing system alongside the state policing system, then you have situations where their powers might have to overlap. Who's going to give room for who? And wouldn't this cause confusion at the end of the day, like what we see in other crimes, the FBI and CIA and all of that? Are we considering all of this as we're putting this bill forward? Yes, I think it is good for the bill to take cognizance of all these things is very, very important. I agree with you. The possibility of having elapsing powers or confusing one thing from the other, and possibly that is why you would require a certain level of control by the commission, where the state governors will have 70% and then the 30% will go to the commission, and possibly to set, or even a certain level of action can only be directed either by the commission or by the central police leadership. We still have the central police working possibly on certain crimes. There could be definition of crimes that crime A, B, C, D will be controlled by the central government, and the E, F, G, H to Z will be within the control of the state's police arrangement. If that is done and it is clearly put and there is proper training and understanding, if I'm a federal police, I know that my limitation is between A to D, while if you are a state police, you know your limitations start from E to Z. So that will now tell you that you cannot go beyond here, and this particular place is a no-go area for you. So you will stay within your limit, and also within the powers that you have to work as either federal or state police. I think there should be that definition, because even right now, I remember a short while ago, there was this complication of issues of even the present security arrangement that we're having. There is a lapsing power between one and the other, where the president said it was, I think, either a committee or something like that was supposed to work to ensure division of responsibilities, even within the present security arrangement that will happen, so that everybody will know that from this to this is my jurisdiction, from this to that is the jurisdiction of the next security agency, and from that to that is that of the next security agency. Even right now, we have that situation as you are trying to bring. But I can remember, like I said, not too long ago, there was something that is similar to the president given that instruction or directives, or I think, or certain committee has been set up to look into this, and then demarcate powers, control, and then of course jurisdiction of where you start and where you end, and where the next person's responsibility starts and where it ends. Right. I think there's such a situation in right now.
Yeah.
Right. So, Mr. Leo, when we asked your question earlier, you said there's a difference between your opinion and the constitutional answer. So now I'm asking you, what is your opinion? Are you for or against, or what are your reservations?
Now you are technically trying to rope me into saying what I'm trying to dodge from saying.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but we'd really like to hear your opinion as to what you think and what your reservations. Yes.
My personal opinion is there's no need for state police. That's my personal opinion. There's no need for state police. All we need is to empower the national police. First, provide all the necessary equipment required by them. Second, provide all the necessary welfare that they may be needing. Third, to ensure that training is the thing that they do, the most latest technological advancement of equipment, the latest kind of training that they should have, that the other world police arrangement do have. And the third and the fourth one is recruitment. Recruit the good number of Nigerian police. We need at least 2 million police, and they are not up to 500,000 up to now. So it means if we can have 2 million of the Nigerian police staffs, I am sure they will do the job that the government or individuals are beginning to think that state policing arrangement can solve the problem. Wow. And I can guarantee you, even if you do the state policing, if the number is not up to what is supposed to be, if they do not have the required training, if there is no required equipment, if there is no proper welfare, we will still be where we are.
Mr. Awal Aliyu, want to say thank you very much. I don't think I've heard a much more robust conversation on state policing than we have had this morning. So
interesting.
I dub thee the best Awal or Aliyu that we've had on the show this morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Awal Aliyu.
Thank you so much for joining.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, well, thank you for trying to make me force me to say my opinion.
Thank you. Now, let's go on a break. We'll be back. We've got more inside of Breakfast Extra. We've got at least an hour to go, so stay with us for some more fun, exciting news conversation.
Emphasis on the extra.
Extra.
Of course, we're back to the headlines inside of Breakfast Extra. I am Queen Celestine. Now, let's begin with a sad development as family, friends, military personnel and sympathizers gathered in Katsina to bid a final farewell to retired Major General Rabe Abubakar. The late former Director of Defense Information was laid to rest on Saturday evening at the Gidon Dawa Cemetery in Katsina State. The funeral attracted family members, senior military officials, government officials and members of the public who came to pay their last respect to the retired army officer. Major General Abubakar reportedly died while in the custody of bandits who had abducted him and his wife along the Maraba Musawa Kafinsoli Road in Katsina State. Authorities say he died from complications related to diabetes and hypertension while in captivity. His wife remains in the hands of the kidnappers. And in the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has expressed shock and sadness over the death of retired Major General Rabe Abubakar, who reportedly died while being held captive by terrorists in Katsina State. In a statement, President Tinubu extended his condolences to the family of the late senior military officer, the Katsina State government and the Nigerian Armed Forces. The president also expressed concern over the continued captivity of the late general's wife and prayed for her safe release. President Tinubu reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling insecurity, insisting that Nigeria would not bow to terrorist demands or negotiate under pressure. And as insecurity continues to threaten lives and livelihoods across the country, concerns are growing over the effectiveness of current security architecture. Citing recent development along the Kwara-Oyo-Ekiti corridor, One group, also known as the 5-Star Movement, has called for urgent reforms needed to tackle the nation's security challenges and restore public confidence. The group has unveiled a blueprint that prioritizes improved police welfare, stronger border collaboration with neighboring countries, investment in human capital through increased funding for education and healthcare, and a renewed commitment to the rule of law and accountability.
What we are trying to advocate for is a multi-tiered policing architecture. The Amatek model in the Southwest has already proven that community policing rooted in local knowledge can hold ground that distant federal commands cannot. We're aware that there is a constitutional amendment that was pushed on the 11th of June on state policing. The advocacy that we have as a movement and what we want to see is seeing that constitutional process through to the end, but beyond just changing the laws, ensuring that the states are actually autonomous enough to be able to take the next step in funding and investing in the security architecture of their states. We must think about security of the Nigerian people beyond just what's happening inside Nigeria, but how we guard our borders, how we relate with our neighbors, and how we ensure that a secure region also means a secure Nigeria.
The Edo State government says it is stepping up efforts. The Edo State government says it is stepping up efforts to improve security, transportation, and overall development to enhance residents' welfare. Speaking in Benin City, the Commissioner for Information, Communication and Strategy, Kashima Febwa, said reforms are being implemented across key sectors to boost development and service delivery. The Commissioner for Security and Public Safety, Festus Ebe, urged residents to avoid spreading unverified information on social media, warning it could hamper security operations and cause panic.
Security, a lot to talk about, but to commend the men and women of the various security forces in Edo State.
The ministry is currently engaging Fulfill Africa to partner with New Edo Line in revitalization of Edo Korea services through a public-private partnership arrangement aimed at improving logistics and courier operations across the states and Nigeria.
We are not doing MOU that you see on paper, you can't see them physically. Those buses, you are going to recruit drivers that will drive them. That is already providing 50 employment for drivers. And they will also be motorboy. Government is going to be doing things that will take people away from the street so that they can be gainfully employed in doing one thing or the other in providing services of the people.
Kenyan families are in mourning after a mass was held for 16 schoolgirls killed in a suspected arson attack on their school. The tragedy is part of growing unrest linked to student protests across the country. Authorities say Kenya has recorded 47 school fires this year alone, raising serious concerns over safety in boarding schools. Pupils have been protesting issues including exam pressure, corruption, and poor living conditions. Officials are now under pressure to address the rising wave of incidents and restore calm in the education sector as investigations continue into the deadly fire. And that's all at this hour for the headlines. Let's go on a break. When we return, we start the last hour in Breakfast Extra. To stay with us.
Welcome back. It's the final hour for Breakfast Extra on a Sunday edition. Now, every year on June 14th, the world marks World Blood Donor Day, a reminder that one of the most powerful acts of service often goes unnoticed. This year's theme, One Drop of Humanity, Give Blood Saves Lives, highlights a simple truth. Blood cannot be manufactured. It can only come from people willing to give it. The World Health Organization says safe blood remains essential for surgeries, for childbirth complications, accident victims, cancer treatments, and many other life-saving medical interventions. Yet, many countries, particularly developing nations, continue to face shortages of safe blood supplies. For Nigeria, the conversation is especially important. Hospitals frequently face challenges securing enough blood for emergencies. Behind every successful surgery, safe delivery, or trauma response is a blood supply that depends almost entirely on voluntary donors. Challenge is not just collecting blood during emergencies, but building a culture of regular and voluntary donations that keep blood available before a crisis occurs. Now, the WHO notes that voluntary unpaid donors remain the safest and most reliable source of blood supply worldwide.
And it's hot. World Blood Day is World Blood Donor Day. It's a conversation about responsibility, public health, and the value of a single act of generosity. And to help us understand the science behind blood donation, the challenges facing blood banks, and how more Nigerians can get involved, we're joined by Taiwo Oloko, medical laboratory scientist. Mr. Oloko. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Before the camera came on, I was there bugging you and asking, let me just ask you
a quick question.
The first one.
Selfish question. Go on. Ask it again.
If there's one thing in there that made sense to me that was very fascinating, then they'll say I'm preaching because I'm a Christian, is that blood cannot be manufactured except someone give it to you. So Jesus gave his blood. Woo!
Nice
Preaching.
blood.
But I think one question a lot of people ask is, can people with tattoos donate blood?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, people with tattoos can donate blood.
Yeah.
We just do not advise them to donate immediately after getting the tattoo.
Right.
From like 6 weeks upwards to as much as like 6 months after the tattooing, they can donate blood.
So you're saying after 6 weeks, the ink in the blood would have washed away?
Well, it's not just about the ink for us, really. The ink is not going to stay in the blood. The ink is on the skin, even though some may get into the blood, but it gets removed by the kidneys and the and the liver and the body system. But there's a risk of infection. That is what we are more concerned about in the blood transfusion space, which is there could be a risk of infection. Viral infections or bacterial infections, even fungal infections could be transmitted if they do not, sterilize the tattooing equipment before using it on the person.
All right.
And then so we need that period, that window period, to see if the person's health is not affected by that.
Right.
Before
Mazino asks his selfish question, don't ask me.
I have a question for you.
I'm coming.
Why are you so interested in that question?
Well, because, growing up, when you hear, oh, come and donate blood, you're like, whoa, I don't want to die. I like my blood. Let me give my blood. So my next question is, why should a Nigerian walk up and say, you know what, I'm going to donate my blood? Why will I give my blood out?
Yeah, that's a very good question, really. And it's a question I get a lot. And the response is because it is part of humanity to help other human beings. Blood is, blood donation and blood transfusion is a very modern thing. It's not up to 150 years, just a little over 100 years, really.
Right.
And it saved so many lives. It has reduced, it has helped to increase life expectancy in humanity. When we hear about people live longer now, one of the major reasons why people live longer is because they have access to blood. So why you should donate blood as a Nigerian is because you are your brother's keeper. You want the best for your brother. You want him to live as long as you want to live. He or she may need it at a particular time, and you are the only one. Like you said earlier, blood cannot be manufactured.
Right.
It is only for you, from one human to another human, that's, we get blood to save other human beings. And that leads us to the theme of this year's World Blood Donor Day. One drop of humanity.
My blood will save Mazino's life.
I hope so. I pray so. One drop of humanity, give blood, save lives. And that just, answers the question. So that's why we should donate blood as Nigerians.
Right. Really. Let's come to the Nigerian instance, particularly now. Let's ask exactly how many Nigerians give blood. Do we have challenges when it comes to blood donations? Do we have challenges when it comes to the acceptance of blood? Let's address all of that.
Yes, we have a lot of challenges, really. The WHO recommends that we should have voluntary blood donation because that's the safest source of blood. And why is it safest? Because if you're donating voluntarily, you're not under any pressure. You wake up in the morning, you have your meal, I'm like, okay, what can I do to help humanity? Let me go and give my blood. There's no pressure there. If you're not feeling well, if you're tired, if you have things to do, okay, fine, I'm not going to do it today, I'm going to do it another day. There's no pressure there. But if it's because you need to survive, if it's because there's pressure from somewhere, the family,
Economic
the community,
pressure,
economic pressure, that's what I mean by need to survive, really, not your life, not economic pressure. And, you know, pressures from
your surroundings,
a family member, or things like that, you know, it may not, you may not be in the best, you may not be in the best frame of mind, but because you need to do it, there's a need there. But when the need is self-generated, I want to contribute to humanity. I want to save lives. I'm under no pressure. I just want to be a voluntary donor. That is the best source of donation. And that's why the WHO recommends that each country should work towards getting the 100% voluntary blood donation. In Nigeria, we are still far from that 100%. We're hovering around 10%. And, you know, you see the difference.
So that 10% is people who volunteer. The rest are selling their blood.
Are usually, you know, family, replacement donors.
Insurgents has presented itself. And
exactly. And then the commercial guys that get remunerated for.
Oh, there are. So there's like a blood farm, people who actually do this.
There is.
Now that brings lots of other questions. I was going to save that till later, but now that we're on the subject.
Okay.
So now these guys, how often do they, how frequently and how frequently do they give blood?
Well, ideally.
Or how frequently is ideal?
Exactly. Ideally, 3 to 4 months, every 3 to 4 months. You know, technically you can do it in like 52 days, but 52 days, almost 60 days, and you just extend it to
and how much
90
blood
days to be safe.
Is taken from, or could be taken from a donor?
Well, it's just 450 mils. It's very small.
I like how you put the just.
No. I don't think
just 450 mils.
In terms of beer bottles now, let's understand.
Okay, what's the size of a beer bottle?
Let's do a can, 550 ml. Let's do a can.
Okay, 550 ml, so it's less than a can.
It's less than a can?
Yeah, because it's just 450 mils.
Okay.
That they can take every 60 days.
They can donate every 3 months. We usually recommend 3 to 4 months. For women,
90 days.
4 months. For men, 3 months. You know,
why is that? Because men don't need much blood. Why is men 3 months, women 4 months?
Well, because of biology, basically.
Okay.
Careful, they don't agree.
I'm just asking. Even if I understand, I'm just asking.
It's basically because of biology. Women have natural cycles.
Yes, every month and stuff.
You know, so all those are factors, you know.
We're fragile.
So they need time to recuperate from that, and then
that's a very interesting.
You know, men don't have that, so they can donate more frequently.
Should I ask you a personal question for you, or you ask it?
Which one?
Can smokers donate blood?
Can smokers donate blood? I had asked that earlier.
Yeah, well, it depends on what they're smoking. Basically, there's a screening process that determines your eligibility for donation. So ordinarily, smokers will be ineligible, especially if they're smoking things like the higher things.
Like agricultural stuff.
Like sapele kind of stuff.
The higher, things. But if it's just tobacco, fine. You may donate blood if it's just tobacco. But of course, we're going to assess your ability, your bodies, because the idea is that, look, the donation process has to be safe for both the donor and the recipients.
Right.
So we want to save life of people that had accidents and other things, but the donor has to be safe. It's not just, you don't give blood to be, armed. You have to be safe also.
So apart from your conscience that, you're saving a life, what other benefits can a donor get from donating blood?
Blood donation is also, it's been shown that it could actually help you to live longer as a donor.
How so?
Yeah, because when you donate blood, your brain gets that information and produces, and sends signals to the bone marrow to produce more blood. So you have fresher blood in you. You have fresher blood in you, and your bone marrow is active for longer, because the older we go, our bone marrow shrinks and becomes less active.
Now, there's an agricultural practice. It's called bloodletting. When it comes to animal husbandry. I read this in school.
Okay.
And what they do is, from time to time, they'd actually stab the cattle and just let it bleed.
Yeah.
This is so, just like he's explained, it refreshes its blood.
Yeah, humans also do it.
Bone marrow. Humans do it as well, I hear.
Yeah.
They do it as well. It's bloodletting. You know, so if you're into that kind of practice, why don't you just donate the blood instead in any case?
Exactly.
But you don't need blood.
It actually makes you healthier.
Yeah, it does.
Take out the bad, or not bad necessarily, but just give your body the ability to be able to continue producing. That helps your bone marrow, because that's where blood actually is manufactured from.
Yeah.
Interesting things we get to learn here.
So we have different blood groups.
Yeah.
So which of them is the most universal in terms of when you're donating blood?
Oh, well,
which of them can and cannot?
Well, all of them can donate blood. There's no universal blood group with regards to donating blood, because human beings belong to all these blood groups.
Right.
And there's, at every particular time, there's someone in a particular blood group that needs blood. You know, so when it comes to blood donation, your blood group doesn't matter. Just go forward and, you know, donate the blood. And each unit of blood, each pint of blood that you donate would save, you know, lives. And that leads, that reminds me of the theme, which is a drop of humanity, give blood, save lives. Give blood, save lives. They did not say save life or save a life, rather. Save lives. Because 1 unit of blood can actually save 3 lives.
Okay. Interesting.
1 unit of blood can actually save 3 lives, because it's processed into the red blood cells, the plasma, and the platelets, and each item, and it can even be processed further, you know, depending on the available technology.
Right.
And each one can save a life.
Right.
I got one final question for you.
Okay.
And it is, okay, so I've agreed to give blood now. What must I know before and after, especially after? Once blood is taken out of me, there are certain things I should expect to happen internally. So what should I be considering
or be prepared for?
Thank you. What should I be prepared for?
Okay, but before you donate blood, it's better to be hydrated and to have had a meal not too long before, maybe
kind of meal like bakery or rice.
Any meal, as long as it's a proper meal.
I'm hungry right now. I'm very hungry.
Don't mind us. We like food.
But yes, you were saying.
As long as it's a proper meal, have a proper meal at least 2 hours before the donation process. Be hydrated, be relaxed. You know, the law say a couple of criteria. We try to make it as easy as possible so that, you know, more people can donate. For one of the criteria is that you have to be above 50 kg in weight, because you know, the blood volume is it's
a factor. It's a measure.
It's a factor, exactly. Your blood volume is a factor of your weight also.
Okay.
You know, so in most cases anyway. So you have to be above 50 kg.
Okay.
After the donation process, you know, just relax. Don't do any strenuous activity after that. But you can go back to your normal work if it's not very strenuous.
Will I know that something has been taken out of me? Did it affect any of my regular capacities?
No. Okay, I get where you're going. No, it's not going to affect.
Hey, I have to ask men them out there.
Now I understand.
Because, okay, since you're not a guy, let me explain to you.
No.
Well, in certain activities in the mail order,
in the other room,
you get a stiff organ. And I'm wondering whether after blood donation, that affects that activity.
No, it does not at all. It does not at all.
Have you tried it, though?
Yes, I've donated blood several times. It does not at all.
I mean the one after.
So some people do take malt after blood donation. Is that okay?
Yes, it's perfect. It's
so
okay.
It just helps.
After donation, you need to hydrate yourself because you've lost fluid from your body. So one of the things that we give every donor immediately after donation is water.
So water, no malt?
You can get your malt after the water, but water is preferred because it's water. Water, there's nothing comparable to water in the body. With water, our body is made up of a lot of water. So water is very important so that the blood volume is replaced. Then the bone marrow kicks into action and start replacing your blood cells. You know, the red blood cells, the white cells, the platelets, and the other things, you know.
Interesting. You also mentioned that in Nigeria, we're just below 10% based on the recommendation from WHO. So what do you think the government needs to do to, you know, help or, you know, convince the citizens that, okay, it's okay to donate your blood because we need it for your fellow citizens? So what are the gaps that the government is lacking?
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, the government in the last couple of years, there's been, you know, market progress really.
Yeah.
There's a national legislation now that deals with blood, the blood transfusion service. So there's a National Blood Service Agency that's been, you know, constituted based on law. And then there is the Lagos State law too, which came up many years ago.
Okay.
So the government has made some effort, but there's need to increase funding to the sector so that, you know, campaigns, advocacy can increase, and then what do you call it? Mobile donation centers can also increase, so that people do not have to travel far to get to where they can donate blood. And so much. So basically, it's about funding and better coordination of the you know, blood transfusion and blood donation system, so that more Nigerians can donate blood and we can have more voluntary, you know, blood donors moving forward.
Interesting. Don't worry. Mazino will come and donate blood. I'm certain of it. He's so convinced.
We're going to have to wait a while for that one, but it's okay.
Thank you so much, Taiwo, for joining. It was really an insightful conversation. Now we'll know what our blood can do.
Yeah.
And that our, you know, bone marrow can give us new blood if we save a life. So guys, do save a life. Let's go on a short break. When we return, we have our last conversation. Do stay with us. There are fundraising campaigns, there are awareness drives, and there are journeys that capture attention simply because of the distance involved. A Nigerian motorcyclist is undertaking an ambitious ride from London to Lagos, covering thousands of kilometers across multiple countries to raise awareness and support for the fight against polio. While many people may think of polio as a disease of the past, health experts warn that the battle is not completely over. Sustained vaccination efforts remain critical to protecting children and preventing future outbreaks. The campaign also shines a light on a broader issue. Public health victories are rarely permanent. Diseases once thought defeated can return when awareness drops, funding declines, or vaccination rates fall. That is why initiatives like this seek not only to raise money, but also to remind the public that prevention remains one of the most powerful tools in healthcare.
So this morning, we examine the significance of this extraordinary journey with Olatunji Okedeyi, incoming president of Rotary Club Mushin Golden. But first, let's play an excerpt from an earlier show that we had him on before he started his journey, and then we'll be joined by him to talk about the extent to which he has gone now. And we're very excited. Let's see this from a couple of months ago.
Also not safe, so that's why the campaign needs to be ongoing. And also when our mother, when they give birth to baby as well, from 0 to the age of 5, they also need to continue to have this immunization for these children as well, so that they can be able to have that immunity. So the more we are campaigning for people to be aware that what they need to do, and also we are also raising money towards that challenge as well. So that's the reason why I'm embarking on this journey.
Interesting, Queen, because only just, I think, somewhere in the last 5 years or 1 decade, I think Nigeria was pronounced polio-free. But I get what you mean. If it's out there, we're still at risk, whether we like it or not.
Yes, we have. Just like coronavirus, if it started from another country and then it ended up in Nigeria and some other part of the world. So with Pakistan and also with Afghanistan, there's war ongoing. People are migrating. People are coming out from those countries. So when they move into another country and they've got polio, so it means it's going to affect any country they move to. So that's the essence of the reason why this campaign also needs to be going. And also the immunization also needs to be ongoing for those children within that area. It's been a bit difficult for people to actually access children within that area because of war. When there's war, there's more to the war that is going on. There's also people being unable, the vaccinator unable to reach those children within those areas as well.
Logistic issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like Mazino said, a lot of people have done this ride for different causes. So I would like to, I know that Muslims, when you're doing a courses for, there's a reason.
Yeah.
So can you share with us, is it like a personal reason? Did you have someone who's...
Personal experience?
What's your experience with it and why are you fighting so much for it?
So I grew up in the hospital. My parents they work in the hospital, and then we moved from one hospital to the other because we were opportune to be living in the quarters. So I've been able to see children died of polio because they do not have immunization. I've seen children that maybe part of their hand was cut off because they couldn't. And this actually resonated with me for many years back. And I feel at some point I'm actually going to do something to support and also to raise those awareness and also to support that campaign. And there's no better time than now. And that's the reason why now that I have the opportunity to raise that campaign, I have the opportunity also to ask my friends and well-wishers to donate for the cause. So I just say, yeah, this is time for me to embark on this journey.
Interesting. Let's talk about the exact, well, that's not to say that part wasn't exciting, but this part is much more exciting because, I mean, we get to nerd over the rest of this interview here, and you get to observe. So
I will.
As you know, I'm also a biker. I'm not just an ordinary biker. I also do cross-country touring. And I know something for certain, Queen. There's nothing that brings attraction or attention as much as a biker does. Whenever you ride into a place, I'm sure you can testify, the children, the people, the awe, they're like, oh my goodness, how far have you come? How fast can you go? You know, it's always very exciting. And I'm wondering what you intend to use for this journey.
Okay, I'm looking to use, I'm not going to mention
no brands, but
so I'm looking
specs.
at about 850 to 900, max 900 cc in terms of because I need something for it's a long journey, 12,200 kilometers. So I need something strong because of also the wind, but I don't need to, I also need to consider the weight as well. So something that is not too weighty as well.
Give me a second. Let me help her understand. So 900 cc's is the volume of your engine. And right now, Olatunji Okedeyi joins us live from, if I'm not mistaken, Madrid, where he is taking a moment to, well, relax and give us a take on your journey so far. Mr. Okedeyi, you're welcome. Thank you very much. You're on to us here, Lagos, Nigeria. It's what time is it? It's 10:30 about. What time is it? Where you are? Where are you? What's the experience been like since you've embarked on this journey since?
Yeah, thank you. It's at 11:30 here. We are 1 hour ahead of Nigeria, and yeah, the journey has been fantastic. I've met a lot of people on this journey. I've enjoyed the food, the culture, and also discussed about polio as well. I've met a lot of Nigerians as well, especially when I was in Paris 2 days ago. So yeah, it's been fantastic. The journey has been fantastic.
Where exactly are you right now?
I'm currently in Madrid. I'm in Madrid. That's behind me, Madrid. I'm in Madrid at the moment. I'm currently in Madrid, Spain.
Interesting. Mr. Okedeyi, it's so good to see you after our last conversation here. How many kilometers more do you have to come back home? And I just wanted to ask, you're also raising funds. Have you gotten to your target?
No, I'm far away from the target. I think the funding, the target is still, I'm far away from it. I've covered about 1,000 plus kilometers, I think going to 2,000 kilometers at the moment. So, but the moment. So I'm appealing to all our viewers to go and start making their donation. The journey has started, we've commenced the journey. And I'm also grateful to people who are making their donation as well. Like I said, we also have a GoFundMe account as well that the donation can go into. And I'm sure we'll also be sharing our Nigerians account. There's also dollars and pound sterling account where people can make their donation. So, yeah,
Now, Mr. Tunji Olakidi, Okedeyi, please, sorry, I beg you, but I prefer to call you Emmanuel, you know, brothers at bars. But tell us exactly what the reception has been like since you've been meeting people. Are they tuned into the cause? Have they been asking you what you're doing or why you're doing this? Have you been able to tell exactly and share your vision?
Yeah, I think June 12, when I crossed over to Paris, I was in Paris on June 12, I met this lovely couple, and they were wondering what actually is happening, that the polio is still in existence. Now, we are able to deal with coronavirus within a couple of years. COVID was, dealt with, and but we still have polio. For many, many years, we are still battling with polio. So people are quite like, what's actually going on? And they were quite happy that they could see somebody doing this kind of a ride, raising campaign, and also trying to raise funds for the donation. So I've seen quite, a couple of people, they chip in 10 euro, 20 euros onto the GoFundMe account. And because I still have a sticker attached to my bike where people can just scan and they can make their donation. So it's been a fantastic journey, and people are very receptive. I've spoken to both young and adults on the journey as well, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the journey.
Well, so Emmanuel, since we've left the Miss Okedeyi and the Olatunji,
that's for me alone, because I know him.
When you come back to Lagos, what would success be for you? Will it be that, you know, you've done the ride over all these kilometers? Will it be that, you know, the funds that you're expecting, you get it and more? What would your definition of success be for this trip?
For me, success is not measured in about monetary value. My success will be the people I've met on the journey, the people that I've been able to talk to, the people I've been able to speak to about polio, about the reason why mom and that their children should be vaccinated from age of 0 to 5. I think those will be my achievement in terms of people that have been able to, people that don't even know that the polio actually exists, people that don't even know that they need to take vaccination. And I think that would be my own in terms of success, in terms of the outcome of this trip. But I still look forward to donation as well, because those donations will provide some vaccination for some children in some areas. And like I said, polio is still going on in Pakistan, Afghanistan. And until when polio is wiped up on the surface of the earth, all of us are not safe. So that's why it's important that we keep this campaign going. And Rotary has been doing this for many years, and I'm happy to be part of Rotary Club, and I'm happy to also take that challenge on as well. So I look forward into our people's donation, and I hope this donation will continue to come up now that the journey has commenced, and now I'm in my second country out of 13.
Fantastic, good one, good one. Congratulations, second country out of 13. We can't wait to see you here. But now let's get into the anatomy of the journey. I see you chose the F850. How's that been? Did you also get to know about the bike? Have you learned some things about the bike just in case anything happens? Can you handle mechanically the bike?
Yes, thank you, because I know you're also a biker. So what I did is I got a bike like a month before the journey. So I was able to ride on the bike, and I did some changes on the bike as well. I have to put in, rather than buying a new, because it's, I don't know what's, because if you buy a new bike and you want to go on this journey, you don't know what surprises you are going to have. So I bought a fairly new used, which is on 8,000 kilometers when I bought it as well. So what I did was just to change, I changed the sprocket, both the sprocket in the front and the back. Okay. And I also changed the chain as well. So all of them come as new, and I did the valve clearance as well. So valve clearance was done. I did new servicing as well. Did a bit of tweak here and there to suit my journey as well. I have to get pannier. I put about 3, I got another extra pannier at the back, the top one, so that I could have enough to keep what I did, what I'm
carrying along with me. And also you could see that I've got like a 2 nailed tire as well.
Yeah.
Because the tire currently on my bike is only for the tarmac. But I made a tire which is 50-50 because by the time I moved to Morocco, that's when the off-road, I think it's not even from Morocco going to Mauritania, then I'll have to make my 50-50 off-road and on-road. So as I'm crossing, when I cross to Morocco, I'm hoping to put the new tire on, then remove the tire that I've got so that can take me around for the journey.
Okay.
Awesome.
So Tunji, now that's the bike. You've prepared it for Morocco, especially Morocco. Now I'm wondering how physically prepared you are for Morocco, because temperatures changes, the road terrain changes. That's going to take a toll on your body. How prepared are you?
Well, like you know, I mean, the weather is a bit similar as well here. We've got weather, I mean, it's very sunny here. That's why I have to remove my jacket. So the weather is quite, is very hot. So but I'm preparing for the weather there along the route as well. And like I said, I will be doing my journey. I will be starting early in the morning. So that gives me time to buy time as well before the sun comes out. So my journey will start maybe around 5 a.m. in the morning or around 4 a.m.
Very well, fantastic, fantastic. Are there any other unique details we should be expecting through the course of your journey? For instance, how are you capturing every single experience? I see you have a 360 on there. I'm wondering how else you're capturing these experiences and whether people are following you real time as well.
Yeah, I do have sometimes the 360, and also the issue is the internet as well can be very, very dicey, because especially when you are going through middle of nowhere. So, but I've been able to do some live recording as well, also recorded on our YouTube on Human Rights for Zero Polio. People can join us, but on every day, immediately after this program now, I'll be putting on my 360 and also GoPro as well. They will be on, and people can watch and they can follow us on Human Rights for Zero Polio.
Well, Mr. Olatunji, Emmanuel, Okedeyi, let me give you the greeting that you're most familiar with. Rubber side down always. Thank you very much for, well, letting us be the ones to follow you through this journey here at News Central and Breakfast Extra. We look forward to having you back in Nigeria, and I will be there at your point of entry into Nigeria with Breakfast Extra. I make it a promise. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So will I. Just let us know the food you want to eat.
She's not coming. Thank you very much, Mr. Okedeyi.
I look forward to it, and hopefully we can catch up before I cross, maybe when I cross to Morocco, because that will be a change from Europe to Africa.
Oh,
so
yes,
maybe
indeed.
I will catch up with you tomorrow when I cross over to Morocco.
Definitely.
No problem. That'll be nice.
Rubber side down always, man. Thank you very much. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.
You're welcome. Oh, what an exciting journey. I can't wait.
You're talking about bikes. Let me tell you.
To the producers of Breakfast Extra, on the day that he crosses in, I have to be there. I mean, we're following.
Mazino needs to go to Abuja to talk to the retired bandits.
Pay for the fuel, by the way.
Well, my take home today has just been, you know, when Mr. Awal Ali talked about instead of, you know, doing or having a state police, let's fix the one we have. Just reminds me of every time we sit down here and they're like, oh, there's this committee. A committee has been created. A committee has been created instead of focusing on the one that was already in existence and then to fix them and, you know, remove all the bad eggs. That's it. And of course, blood cannot be manufactured. Woohoo!
I like this.
Except
different segment on its own. Take home.
Except the blood is given to you. That's so powerful.
That's beautiful.
That is so powerful.
By the way, let me tell you the real definition in the Nigerian concept of committee.
Tell me.
Come eat ye. Which is, come on, let us chop this morning. That's how we say our goodbyes for Breakfast Extra for this weekend. We ended the week yesterday, started another one with you here today, and hopefully you'll be with us throughout. So join the trio of
As
Breakfast
always.
Central in the morning tomorrow. Jonathan, Olive, and Benga.
You know when you say Jonathan, I'm wondering who, but it's Joe Hansen.
Joe Hansen and Benga. Benga is the little one. Join them tomorrow morning.
And Olive.
And we're out.
I will see you Saturday. Bye.
Bye-bye.